This NAFP Spotlight is brought to you in part by the United Negro College Fund Special Programs Corporation and the National Aeronautics and Space Administration. In an effort to enhance the professional development of NASA employees and STEM faculty at minority institutions, NASA developed the NASA Administrators Fellowship Program. Through this premier program, NAFP works to increase the ability of these minority institutions to respond to NASA's overall research, development, and educational mission. To highlight and honor the achievements of its fellows, the NASA Administrators Fellowship Program spotlights Dr. Dexter Johnson.
When I was a boy, I remember loving to watch the Apollo space program, watching the astronauts attempt to go to the moon.
We choose to go to the moon in this decade and do the other thing, not because they are easy, but because they are hard.
It's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.
I also was very involved in astronomy as a young person, and so I think I was very acquisitive about why things were the way they were, and I think that sparked a major interest.
In 1997, Dr. Johnson, now an Aerospace Research Engineer at NASA Glenn, learned about the NAFP program.
I was interested in applying to the NASA Administrators Fellowship Program because, one, it offered an opportunity to get exposure to a higher level of NASA and how NASA operates and so forth. Also, it had the component of being able to go and teach at a historically black college, university, or minority serving institution and so forth. And teaching has been, or at that time was in my mind as a possible augmentation to my career or post-NASA career endeavor.
Johnson then selected Florida Agricultural and Mechanical University as his host institution. He hoped to impart his knowledge and experience in the field of advanced control systems on the students and faculty of FAMU.
My time at Florida A&M was a very great time, very good time, and having been able to teach a semester there provided me an opportunity to interact with a lot of the graduate students, a lot of the undergraduate students there in the area of mechanical engineering, particularly in control systems. I taught an advanced controls course, and many of the students there were in some way involved in controls projects or controls curriculums, or even students of the professor who I was working with. And one thing that I felt is it enabled me to impart some of the experience that I had in working in research here at NASA Glenn and take that to the classroom. Many of the examples that I used in teaching the class, I used from technology that either I was working on or I was familiar with because of my experience here at NASA.
Dr. Johnson also learned a great deal from the faculty at FAMU.
When I was at Florida A&M University, I collaborated with Dr. Manuel Collins, who at the time was a professor in the mechanical engineering department. And his focus and his expertise is in control systems, control of mechanical, dynamic systems. And we were able to focus on the development of various control theories and various control applications for magnetic bearings. So he shared with me some different applications of some high-level control methodologies, and I looked to apply those methodologies to the technology for which I worked on.
As a result of his association with FAMU and NASA, Dr. Johnson was offered a position that would allow him to reach a larger number of minority students pursuing STEM degrees.
A very important connection came about because of a special grant that NASA Glenn gives to Florida A&M University. And it's a program called the Graduate Image Program. And it's one of maybe a couple programs that is specifically designed to produce minority PhDs in engineering. And although before I was in the program, I mentored some of the students that came here, that is to Glenn in the summertime, Now, after being in the program, I became the technical monitor for the grant and began to have an ongoing relationship with the program managers in Florida A&M and ensuring that we continue to have students apply to the program, progress through the program, and to finally obtain their PhDs in engineering.
Since returning to NASA Glenn Research Center, Johnson has been promoted to Chief of the Structural Systems Dynamic Branch. Johnson's director, Dr. Gauntner, talks about his contribution to the department.
His position at NASA through the years has been to contribute to the technical advancement in areas of dynamics and controls. We are getting into spaceflight hardware more recently with this Ares rocket, which will test some of the initial engines that will be used on the rockets for the Exploration Mission Systems programs going from here to the station and on to the moon. Dexter's abilities are going to help us to find these rockets quicker, define some of the problems, and help us find solutions to those problems.
He credits the NAFP with providing him an opportunity to engage in various areas of expertise within the NASA system.
The benefits for being a NAFP is multifaceted. For me, it opened up my eyes to a NASA that I did not know. Being a researcher, most of the time I spent in the lab, and I spent a lot of it primarily by myself with a few other colleagues. Being a NAFP enabled me to see how NASA works on a higher level. It also exposed me to other colleagues at other centers and the different activities they're involved in. And I think that that gave me an understanding of the potential that I have in terms of being a part of NASA and contributing in a bigger way to NASA's mission.
By providing minority institutions a link to NASA, the NAFP Fellows inspire young scientists to enhance their talents towards a national research agenda. By offering hands-on research, the NAFP educates and employs the workforce of tomorrow, our STEM champions. The United Negro College Fund Special Programs Corporation, serving as a portal between the vision of minority institutions and the funding priorities of our nation.